So we are all here as the CEEDS leadership team. So CEEDS is Council for Entrepreneurship Enablement, Decarbonization and Sustainability. And today I have with me the rest of my leadership team, Dr. Madan Mohan Rao, Dr. Kundan Das, Ade Melita, and Vinay Dora. And we are going to set this discussion in the context of the recent India-Indonesia strategic partnership discussions. As those of you who have been following the news, you would have seen there's been a lot of high-level government understanding in terms of innovation across various sectors, such as energy, agriculture, digital infrastructure, manufacturing, and high-level memorandums of understanding have been signed by the two governments. And it is very interesting for us. We launched CEEDS about a year back. It all stemmed out of activities that we did as part of CommsNets, and we had an event shift in Bali. That's how CEEDS came together. We ourselves signed a memorandum of understanding with the Department of Energy Transition, Nuclear Energy Transition in Indonesia. And today I have the pleasure to have the entire leadership team here. So what we are first going to, and it's all going to be set under the theme of green intelligence. So let me just give you a brief overview of what is green intelligence. So we have all heard about AI and intelligence in the AI era. However, to do AI, we require these massive data centers. And you'll hear more from the other experts on this panel. When we do these massive data centers, they require a lot of energy. And without having sustainable forms of energy and clear energy transition strategy, there is really no AI. So AI and sustainability almost go hand in hand now. And that's why we had launched CEEDS about a year back. And we are really excited. Our vision is that CEEDS is an ecosystem of 5 personas, bringing together universities, researchers from the universities, and founders, investors, regulators, as well as big ecosystem players, all around the theme of sustainable innovation. And the main idea is at CEEDS and with the Green Intelligence Initiative, we effectively bring this ecosystem together and start with challenges and problems. So unlike the traditional innovation journey where a founder comes up with a bright idea and then they go seek investment, so it's idea, investment, and then the solution building happens. Typically for us, the theme is identify the challenges, identify the real world problems from this ecosystem and bring together the ecosystem and build the solution, and then get the right type of investment as well as regulatory framework and support behind that. So that is the overall theme. And today I'll now get into the meat of the discussion. So let me start with Dr. Madan Mohan Rao, who's spent decades working across innovation ecosystems, entrepreneurship, as well as he's written several books. So wealth of knowledge here. So Madan, our theme here is to go from these MOUs to meaningful innovation. And we launched this initiative with the idea that it takes an ecosystem to really do meaningful innovation, especially around sustainability in the age of AI. From your perspective, and you've seen all the activity in terms of all these strategic MOUs which have been signed between the governments. So from your perspective, what does it take to translate these strategic in MOUs into meaningful economic and societal impact?
Sure, thanks. I think this is a terrific initiative. Just to set the strategic context, I think I will pick up on a couple of themes you just mentioned, Gaurav, which is climate change and the rise of AI. So, on the one hand, we are seeing a lot of disruptions because of unprecedented changes in climate, the environment, whether it's energy patterns or climate patterns, weather patterns. There's a lot of shift that we are seeing. We're also seeing a lot of challenges caused by industrialization, driven by the AI age. The rise of Gen AI is also pointing a very uncomfortable spotlight on the energy and water footprint of AI, whether data centers or processing centers and so on. So it's very important to remember that we can't keep society and environment as afterthoughts. They should be baked into the design of AI infrastructure, AI use cases, and so on. However, it's not possible for only companies to look at their energy footprints or only governments to look at the environmental impact of the whole AI ecosystem. You have to take a look at the entire ecosystem of technology, of energy, of society, and so on. And that is why collaboration matters, because each of us together have one piece of the action. Each of us individually has one piece of contribution that we can make to the big picture. And only when we come together can we rise above our individual strengths. That is why ecosystem collaboration is so important at a multiple level. One is the different components of the industries involved in AI, right from computer science to energy to civil engineering to telecom, datacom, software, and so on. And it also calls for a lot of international collaboration. So that is why I think the team who's coming together right now from Indonesia and India with experience across other geographies as well is very important. So there are clearly a lot of market needs as well as market gaps. But luckily, we feel that we've got the team over here with the right connections and the right motivation to make all of this happen. So to move ahead from just intent to innovation to impact, we have to put together a very comprehensive plan, a very good agenda, a very good system of values, of alignment directions, and so on, so we can build the goalposts as we go along. So the key is to have, for example, tangible challenges for different companies, government agencies, and so on, and bring together an entire ecosystem of academia, of startups, as you rightly mentioned, Gaurav, different kinds of personas of people. So startups, corporate innovators, investors, government people, energy experts, and so on, to see how do we take apart these challenges and collaborate one by one to build a much more sustainable AI advantage for all of us in the future. Gaurav?
Yeah. Yeah, great point, and that in a way now very nicely leads me to the next question for our expert panelist and Kundan. So now you're a Dr. Kundan Das. Congratulations on that. I know you and I have worked for a long time together, starting from our communication networks days, and you have been the technology brain as far as seeds is concerned behind the sustainability and energy transition drives. And we are all passionate about the ecosystem. That's why we got together. So I think Madan made some excellent points about bring the ecosystem together. The other thing that really differentiates what we are trying to do, as I said at the top, is that we are starting with a challenge first, problem first kind of a mentality. So having seen innovation from across various technology cycles, starting from the communication era to energy transition, AI, everything that you've seen. What would you say? What is different about when you start with challenge first, problem first, and what are the type of problems that you see that are out there already, which an ecosystem like this challenge first ecosystem can help address?
Oh, okay. So thanks, Gaurav, and thanks, Madan. So if I'll go back to again the investment cycle. So if you look at in the last 200 years investment cycle, so we have seen various cycles like roadways is the cycle, communication infrastructure is a cycle, and now we are in the era of AI, and that is now driving the entire investments globally. And if you look at in the last couple of, particularly in the last 1 year or 2 year, we have seen a massive growth in the market capitalization of chipset, which is tangibly coming. That's why Taiwan's and Korea and US now they're leading the stock market. But if we go to bottom up, that again, it is fundamentally driven by the investment in the data center, which is the brain of AI. Now, as we all know that when it is a data center or AI fundamental, it is based on a 5-layer architecture. Okay, on the chipset, if we look at it, is on the layer 2, layer 3, that is data center and chipset. But Below that, there is a layer which is more to do with the natural or the physical layer, that is more to do with the energy and water.
Mhm.
So today, if we calculate, this particular cycle of AI investment with the data center, so in the 6 year span, the total investment was planned to be around close to 900 billion US dollar, which is never happened in the past number of cycles. Okay, because all the cycles we have seen investment that used to spread across 30 to 40 years, but this is a segment of investment where particularly US has seen there's a 900 billion US dollar going to be invested in a span of 6 years. But what is now getting issue is that in the last 6 months, particularly, if we track the market, there are more than 200 billion data center investments are getting cancelled or delayed or blocked by none other than but the citizen of that particular country, and that is primarily because of primarily because of three reasons. One is wherever the data center is coming, the energy cost is going more than 15 to 20% higher. The water supply to citizen is coming down by 70 to 80% down. The third pollution which is coming the data center, and the fourth one, if I may keep that at another, there is a temperature difference of, if your house is close to a data center, you are going to experience close to 1 to 2 degrees centigrade temperature rise of your house. Now all these are practically the issues which are going to block the investment, and that is already coming on the market. Companies like Brookfield, who owns like has now cancelled the largest data center investment. So now what you are finding is that AI is a great technology, but unfortunately it came in a time where we are already challenged with multiple environment related issue, and now it is energy, water, noise, temperature. These are the issue which are further coming in. But if we go to bottom of that, yes, we want AI to be successful. AI has a lot of value to offer, but fundamentally now we are leading to a innovation era. So the past is chipset, but the future is going to be more innovation related to how we are going to make efficient utilization of natural resource, and that is energy
Mhm.
with all the different renewable and non-renewable source of energy, and our key resource which is water. So we are fundamentally going to see number of innovations which where we are going to see that data centers are going to come underwater, or sea is going to be a natural solution, or putting the data center in the sea, using various innovation related to satellite communication or satellite power or solar or space based data center. Now those are the innovations which are coming. So we have to go to core of the issue is that today we all understand where the bottleneck is, but if we look at the education ecosystem that we have with respect to the challenges we are going to see in the market, there is a massive gap. Okay,
Mhm.
particularly in India, if we look at majority of our technology university, they're focusing on computer science coding, but if we look at fact of the matter is that the data center investment is more going uh, on the infrastructure, energy, and water. So I think there is a massive need of addressing these issues, wherein innovation has to now align to the critical solutions which are going to address the challenges which are more going to be coming from the natural resource management. So I will, and in seeds, like we are focusing that we are helping institute and we'll continue to do that, but it needs a much bigger support from the larger ecosystem. And I'm pretty sure that down the line, we are going to align to that one.
Yep. Yeah, great points there. And in a way, I think so. If I make just ask you a follow up relate that, because this I think is the heart of what we are doing. You already identified quite a few challenges there, as you talked about the data centers in terms of noise and natural resources, etc. So there are actually, as you were talking about that, like we don't even need to go ask anybody externally for challenges. These are the problem statements that we need entrepreneurs and students and universities to start working on solving, as you were laying them out. It is no longer just about building technology stacks. It is about solving these type of problems. So, and as you rightfully pointed, for that we need to uh, start creating these next generation entrepreneurs through the universities who can really be skilled to solve these type of challenges. So that is why we are doing what we are doing at seeds, to bring together the universities, marry them with these actual real life challenge statements. Anything you would like to add there, Kundan?
Yeah, yes, that's right. But we have to also understand the universities and our education system. So traditionally, uh, if we look at India at this point in time on the environment index, we are like 176 out of 180 number of countries. Okay.
Mhm.
And
So,
we are in that position because we never focused on environment. Okay. You take, if you track recently, we have summer, and in summer, out of all 100 cities that has got highest temperature, all belongs to India. Now,
mhm,
if I look at a data center investment, it is never going to be preferred in a area, or the cost, total cost of ownership is going to, like, if I'll take, case of India versus Finland or Sweden or Norway, there is a TCO variation of 30 to 40%, primarily because we are not, our environment doesn't support the right solution implementation for data center, which is a fact of the matter, because the heat
mhm,
here that we are going to generate, the solution that we are going to, or the energy that we need to cool that heat, the water that we need to cool that heat, that is a cost and that is a limitation. But if I'll talk of Norway, okay, there is the heat is generated, that is well addressed by the environment condition. Second is that the country needs heat because in during winter the data centers are now selling heat. Okay, so
mhm, mhm,
we, if we, India has to really address to the to the success of data center, which is core of the investment of AI. And if I'll further factor that, if we are talking today the data centers, now the fact which is coming is that all the data centers, they're going to now uh, going to put their own energy or captive power plant to power that data center. So the actual jobs which are going to come in AI, if you look at US right now, the jobs are more electrical, water, plumbers. Those are the jobs which are, have gone, seen the growth, in number thousands and thousands, wherein the
mhm.
software jobs are now vanishing, but the electrical and water jobs are going up. But unfortunately in India, if you look at our universities, they are clueless on, what is water, what is energy. They are absolutely like, but of course the government is taking certain steps. If you look at in the last couple of visits of Prime Minister Modi, it is all to those countries to buy uranium, to focus on nuclear. Those are the alignments which are happening. India needs a total investment for energy transition by 2050 close to 13 trillion US dollar. Other is there seized from Indonesia. Indonesia needs 3.7 trillion US dollar. If you just combine India and Indonesia, it is a 15 trillion, more than 15 trillion US dollar in the next 25 years. So that kind of investment is need to happen to address to all these challenges of decarbonization, environment, and AI. But if you look at the education platform readiness, absolutely not, nothing. Okay, whether
Yeah.
it is
So,
IITs, NITs, or anyone. Okay, it is, there is the focus of natural resource engineering management is absolutely clueless. Okay,
yeah. So,
so that's
yeah. Yeah, I think that those are all opportunities. The way I look at it, and the way that's the reason we saw the gap in here. That we need to create this ecosystem. It is bringing together the universities and where the skill gaps is, and also the point that you raised about the challenges that would be there in Norway versus US versus Indonesia versus India. While green intelligence, the theme applies everywhere, but the challenges are very local in each of these environments. And that's where we are really trying to build these ecosystems globally and solving local problems. So that's the way I honestly see the future, that there need to be thriving local entrepreneurship, solving local problems on top of a shared global infrastructure. And you mentioned India and Indonesia, and Ade is here. Ade has been part of our team. Seeds came together, as I said at the top, through initiatives that we did with Indonesia. It emerged out of an event that we did about a year back called Shift in Bali, that Ade was instrumental in putting together. And we got talking to the various departments of the government of Indonesia. And since then, we've had many active discussions. And what started with Indonesia has turned into a global kind of movement where we now see that the same problems apply elsewhere. At the same time, as we are launching this green intelligence cohort, and it is very interesting that it also aligns with the high level government MOUs being signed between the two governments. So Ade, I would like to come back to you on what do you see as the opportunity for India and Indonesia to be working together, and how do we turn these high-level strategic MOUs between the governments into more meaningful innovation to start solving the type of challenges and problems that Kundan just highlighted? So over to you, Ade.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes.
I think what Kundan said is based on what we have been through together in Indonesia while Kundan's here. That the response from the government and especially also from academia, we are very welcomes India as a strong partner for Indonesia to develop the collaboration in terms of decarbonisation and sustainability. And nuclear now is top of mind for the government, besides the other alternative for energy. But I think government is already concerned about the more advantage of nuclear. So I think as Kundan pioneering coming to Jakarta last time to talk with government of Indonesia, especially the Ministry of Industry and the Association of Energy Nuclear. So I think there is a more bigger opportunity for us to establish, initiate the collaboration. And yes, we have to. We are also welcomed by the association to do more roundtable or discussion regularly to speed up the the decision of our government, top government, to decide to start uh, thinking about building a nuclear plant, power plant, and also preparing the human capital
Mhm.
through like training and adding more faculty of nuclear in more universities to preparing the human resources to accept the new era for new energy. That's why our position as an enabler of the uh, in terms of experts, in terms of many from India can exchange the technology in Indonesia. we can do through, you know, our activities, from the small group discussion up to a bigger conference or summit that plan to be made on
Yeah.
November. So we call it Nuclear Energy Connect plan to and the chairman of the of the association is planning and willing to put India as a strategic partner on the event to expose and explain about our strengths to collaborate. So I think it's a good opportunity.
Yeah, so that is excellent. And you mentioned that November date, and it aligns beautifully with as we are getting ready to launch our 10-week Green Intelligence cohort,
Mm,
which
mm,
originally we had targeted more to be okay, source local
mhm,
challenges within India.
mhm,
However, given the timing of the strategic MOUs that have
mhm,
been done between the two governments, I think it makes a lot
mm,
of sense to extend that
mm,
to Indonesia as well, and
mm, mm,
I think solve the Indonesia challenges, the nuclear energy transition, and things like that.
mm,
This is your call to action. Bring about those challenges. Become part
mm,
of this 10-week Green Intelligence cohort, and then at the end of that cohort, that nicely leads into that November event where we can,
mm,
out of that, really put some real world ideas into actually very new. Vinay, you've been leading the execution strategy for Seeds as well as with what you do with Mixer.world and the tools like crowd product, etc. You have extensive experience in turning visions into reality. So I think given everything that you heard here, starting with our vision for Green Intelligence cohort, what Madan laid out in terms of the ecosystem approach. Kundan identified all the ideas, potential challenges that we can get behind, and Ades talked about the India Indonesia opportunity. How would you turn some of this into meaningful execution? And what are your thoughts on that?
Right. Thank you, Gaurav. I think very insightful shares. I always have a bias for action. So what I've realized is the biggest challenge isn't lack of ideas or partnerships, but generally in most ecosystems, it's a lack of execution. Essentially, MOUs don't create impact, but people working together around real world problems do. I'd like to give some examples as well. For instance, when we worked in the past with Vodafone, for instance, instead of asking startups to pitch what they had built, we first worked with the organizations, Vodafone's business teams, to understand their actual business challenges. And those challenges, as we believe in Seeds as well, become problem statements that can be shared with startups and business leaders, technology companies, all of that, right? So connecting the right problem with the right innovator and facilitating collaboration makes a lot of sense. And also, when the industry defines the problem, innovation becomes much more focused. Companies are more likely to adopt solutions. Startups work on real market needs. Everyone saves their time and resources. And instead of asking who has the best idea, one can put this across saying what are the biggest challenges that companies in Indonesia and India actually want to share. And also,
Mhm.
since the MOU has come at the right time, right? They've covered defense and maritime security. India Indonesia MOU. They've covered critical minerals and steel supply chains. They covered healthcare and medical regulations. They've covered digital technologies and AI, space cooperation, education and research, food security, telecommunication. In fact, these it's an open appeal to many of the companies who are around to giving start trusting us to give their challenges and problems. You can have one-to-one connects with us. You can schedule time with us. And once those challenges are identified through the Green Intelligence cohort, we'll bring in industry, academia, young talent, researchers, startups, even policy makers and investors who could contribute to this whole thing. So the India Indonesia initiative has come at the right time. That will help us leapfrog into the whole uh, uh, the opportunity for industries. So we've learned innovation becomes powerful when companies stop asking for ideas and start candidly sharing with us facilitators who their real problems. So that creates an execution mindset that we bring to seeds, and through the Green Intelligence initiatives, we are confident that we will be able to help you identify solutions, take them through the 10-week cohort, and not just that, we will help these companies, or we'll help these solutions to be showcased at the right forums, be it in Indonesia, be it in Lake Como, or be it in Bangalore at the ComSet annual gathering, and many more engagement opportunities where leaders can listen to multiple challenges, solutions, and even adopt some of them. Over to you, Gaurav.
Yeah. Awesome. That was a great sort of great discussion overall, and the way you summarized it on turning ideas into execution. I actually can already feel that there is everything's coming together at the right time. The dates also seem to be all lining up, and you mentioned Lake Como. So we have this event in Lake Como. It is the AI/ML Systems Conference. That is a ComsNet's event. It is at the beginning of October. So that is going to be part of the Green Intelligence cohort activities. And Ade, you mentioned a November event in Jakarta that could be also where sort of the Green Intelligence cohort related to the challenges that maybe the Indonesia ecosystem players bring about. We could showcase the result of the Green Intelligence cohort at that. And then, of course, we have our flagship event in Jan 2027, which is ComsNet 2027, where we will be having a DecarBex workshop as well as our Entrepreneur Ignite Summit and opportunities to showcase the result of Green Intelligence cohort, as well as gather new challenges. We expect to be doing this as an ongoing program. So it's not just once and done. So really excited about this. Now, what I would, I mean, you can sense all our excitement, but to sort of put vision on all this excitement, I will ask each one of you that if you had to, and just it's a open green, open sandbox. If you had to project 5 years out, and we are just getting started with this, with seeds and the India Indonesia opportunity, the Green Intelligence cohorts. If you were to just project 5 years out, what do you see as the potential state where we are for the Green Intelligence program as a whole, seeds as well as India Indonesia activities? So, Madan, maybe I'll start with you. 5 years out, what do you think success looks like?
I think we will have a number of case studies in place on what it takes to move from what I would call the four eyes of the five eyes of this whole initiative, which is ideas. What kind of ideas can we come up with to handle green intelligence? Once we come up with these ideas from the challenges, what do we want to do about these challenges? How do we innovate around these different kinds of ideas that have come out? How do we implement each of these? And finally, how do we actually move towards impact and measure these metrics? So I would like us to have in the next 5 years a lot of very good ideas, definitely, on what we can do in this space. Get a lot of people with intent to actually solve these proposed challenges, act on them. New kinds of innovations coming out, so new tricks, new methods, new implementations, and so on. And finally, some action on the ground with metrics to show that we can move the needle in this direction. So I think these are the five eyes that I would like to see in the next 5 years, which is ideas, intent, innovation, implementation, and impact.
Nice, very nicely summarized and easy to remember, the five eyes. So the same question, Kundan, over to you. You identified a lot of challenges and potential shortcomings in the ecosystem right now. And now we are coming together as seeds as well as bringing together the various ecosystem players. So, going from the state where there are right now lots of shortcomings, challenges, if everything goes as per the vision that we have in place, what do you see 5 years from now?
Yeah, I will extend from where Madan has left. So, uh, ideas. Okay, I very much agree with what Madan has said. So, we have to be, when it comes to idea, the core of the idea is going to be in three different areas of innovation that we have to look forward and get focused on energy, and that is purely clean energy, decarbonized energy, okay, which is a combination of renewable, smart grid on transportation, nuclear at the core, because that's a baseload energy that we have to look for. So majority of innovations are going to be in this area on the energy front. That is going to eventually help it out in decarbonizing our country as well as the planet. Second is that India and Indonesia, we have a lot of advantage so far. We have a coastal belt which is connected with sea. Okay. Now, unfortunately, till date we are not able to use a lot of wave energy. Okay. So we are going to focus again a lot of innovation around wave energy. There are a number of startups which have come up globally where they are working very closely with data center companies, whether it's Meta, Google, AWS, Microsoft, on deploying data center in water using wave energy as a source, wind energy in the offshore as a supplier, as well as the water consumption is getting highly addressed when you're putting a data center in the sea. And fortunately, like Indonesia has massive coastal belt because of its advantage of multiple islands, so that can be utilized to its own advantage. The third is that both the countries have a massive youth, okay, which is a young populated country, and if their energy is going to be channelized with the right skill set, okay, then I'm pretty sure that the innovation is going to be with no limits. Okay, so those are, I think, the advantage, but the advantage need to be guided with the right guidance. And at Seed, we are going to, definitely put our best to channel wherever it is needed with the right guidance and the right initiative to help out, the two countries and the planet.
Awesome. Very well said. So, with that, are they given your proximity to the Indonesia ecosystem, and given the fact that you were the one who brought the initial India-Indonesia activities together, and in a way that led to the formulation of seeds. And now we have come all this way in the last 1 year and launching the Green Intelligence cohort as well as the riding on top of these strategic MOUs. What would you consider success to look like in the next 5 years? Ade, over to you.
Yeah, I think the success in the next 5 years in Indonesia is when the government approved to nuclear development in Indonesia to apply. And the second thing is we, together with the association, has launched the white paper about the nuclear power plant to be submitted to government. And in that book, in that white paper, it is mentioned that nuclear is the only prospective and clean energy in the future. So that's also pushing more activity in a green intelligence cohort that we develop now to be socialized through this collaboration. Because what I see, it's still scattered group of discussion. It is scattered information received by important ecosystem uh, which is actually only lead uh, of very clear leaded by Ministry of Energy and Ministry of Industry. The other is
Mhm.
still, not clear direction. So maybe seeds in Indonesia, of course, we have to collaborate with all the ecosystem available here to start the socialization, sharing technology, more discussion, but also action. Not
Yeah.
only discussion, but action, like what Vinay said, that how to invite the startup talking and making a new innovation in nuclear.
Mhm.
What they can do, and also like government needs more think tank to clear their direction and forming their decision. So I think our position can be established in here and should be supported by other Indian industry in Indonesia, which is actually it is many, but they are also
Mhm.
working alone, working separately. So I
Yeah.
think yeah, that's also the problem. If we make a activity event or activities, it's difficult to gather Indian industries. They sometimes follow this, sometimes not. Sometimes there is no uh, strong endorsement from Indian embassy. Like every activity which is tied up with Indian society, they should support. That's also we can put our role, to gather them. I think that's the base of
Yeah.
collaboration. Otherwise, like I've been trying 7 years, almost 8 years, to promote this, but it's still working very slow because it is scattered coordination.
Yeah. Yeah, so
Mm.
I think that's where I sense a real opportunity in terms of
Mm.
how we have come together, as well as the strategic MOUs that have been executed. Which honestly, so you highlighted the work that we have been doing on nuclear energy and energy transition. The
Mhm.
MOUs cover far larger set of topics, as Vinny had mentioned in his conversation. And I think most of these things turn into real execution and ideas that can be turned into implementable startups, as Madan also raised, when there is a real world challenge, real world problem that requires a data center, the right type of energy transition. So I think, Vinay, just building on top of what you had said as part of your last response, what would you consider success to be in 5 years?
I would say 50,000 quality solutions between Indian and Indonesian ecosystem that we solve. I'll keep it very brief. Things like how AI reduces food waste across both countries, how startups can improve maritime logistics, how universities can help decarbonize manufacturing, how digital health can improve healthcare. I'm just saying things like these, like critical mineral supply chains can become more sustainable, how young innovators can solve problems identified by companies. So if these 50,000 or 5,000 but quality solutions that are sort of taken forward, I would say that would be a success for the green intelligence ecosystem that we are building.
Yeah, that's a great point. I think a tagline with green intelligence is, while AI allows you to solve some problems, green intelligence is what identifies what is it truly worth solving, or what do you truly care for solving. And everything that you laid out are human and planet centric challenges that need solving. That's why we are building this ecosystem. So this has been a great discussion. Really excited about having the team together, and the timing around the government level MOUs, which have been executed. Our philosophy is going from these strategic MOUs to driving meaningful innovation. The five I's that Madan laid out pretty much sums up ideas. Madan, it was ideas, innovation, impact, and
Intent.
I'm drawing a blank, but intent. And so beautifully said. We are really excited about driving this forward as a meaningful ecosystem fueled by the cohorts that we are launching. So if any of this resonated with you, you see the QR code there. Please join the seeds cohort for green intelligence. Bring about your real world challenges, problems that you think cross border collaboration between India and Indonesia, and bring together an ecosystem of universities, academia, founders, funders, ecosystem players, and regulators can really, really help address. So join us. We are looking forward to more such activities, and stay tuned for future episodes of Green Intelligence podcast as we start gathering momentum around some of these ideas and we launch the Green Intelligence cohort. There will be more of these episodes. So stay tuned for more. Thank you.
Thanks, everyone. Thanks.